Good afternoon, everybody. It is a lovely spring day here in Hirakata, Japan. Ooh. I just got finished with my morning Japanese class. I only have one class on Fridays. It's about 1 p.m. Figured I'd head over to Yamadake Koen, which is about a 15-minute bike ride from me, and go enjoy the sakura. And thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the things I've experienced culture shock-wise while I'm there. I was actually going to switch it up this time, but this was the only thing they really had. And I'm not a big fan of the strawberry sandwiches, personally. But that's just me. The worst part about having a one-year bike is any mild incline causes extreme pain. This hill is not even that steep. Oh my god, I'm just gonna walk it. It doesn't help that I am generally oversized for my bike, so I don't have that much torque anyways. But it looks like we're here. Just a matter of finding a good spot to sit down now. Okay, I brought my trusty notebook. For context right now, it is the beginning of April. So by now, I have been in Japan for almost 3 months. So this, I present to you, is my top 15 culture shock observations in no particular order, necessarily. Number one was the trash situation. If you guys remember from the onsen video, that whole kind of obsessive sorting of trash really threw me off. Especially in America, we've grown up with, you know, recycling, compost, stuff like that, but coming here took it to a whole new level of meticulousness, you could say. There's so much waste here, but they're really good at handling it. So whether that's good for the environment or not, Next are the shower buttons. My dorm's shower does not have a traditional like faucet almost. You have to press a button to turn the shower on, and that button turns the water off every about 15-20 seconds tops. Sometimes it's shorter, it varies. This thing really pissed me off at first, to be honest. Having to wash, try and get all soapy, and then keep slapping the button is kind of a nuisance. Third, having useful coins. Those of you who are from America know very well that our change, our coins, it feels almost useless. Society in general has moved towards contactless payment, but I found myself in so many situations where I wish I would have had coins on me, and I have never been in that situation back in America. You got a vending machine, you want something to drink, you got the cafeteria, which only takes coins or bills. One of my favorite ramen shops, cash only. It's definitely a change. I had to get a new wallet that had a coin pouch because my traditional wallet from the States wasn't cutting it. 4, the night commuter train is a sauna. It's horrible, to be honest. If you happen to find yourself coming back from Kyoto or Osaka between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., you are usually crammed in a car, standing up with the windows fogged up. It's just a horrible experience that I do not wish upon my worst enemy. Number 5, convenience stores actually being convenient, both in their location, the sheer number of them, the variety of products they have. You can get socks, underwear, heat wear, I got gloves, carbonara. Pretty much everything people say and rave about convenience stores here, I would say is true. There's the big 3, there's Family Mart, 7-Eleven, and Lawson. Each one has mild differences, but they all kind of sell the same thing. I'd say my chicken rating probably goes Family Mart, 7-Eleven, and then Lawson. That's probably my my chicken rating, for those who are wondering. Next, contactless service. I would say probably 80 to 90% of the restaurants and service-based locations I go into, you basically do it yourself. There's either an iPad, a QR code, a station, a vending machine, some sort of way to order your service without actually having to interact with anybody. But honestly, it's kind of nice, especially for people who don't know Japanese as much or are anxious about the Japanese. It's actually not as bad as you think, because a lot of the restaurants and stuff, at least where I'm based, have like tablet-based service, unless you're at like, you know, an older restaurant. I've also found all of the desks, counters, sinks, any sort of surface you do something on is way too low for me. The desk in my room, the sink in my dorm, the desks in class are all just like a little too low. And I have kind of a long torso, so I've actually been kind of having some back pain from having to like hunch over and work, because it's just been, you know, like the chairs are shorter and the desks are shorter, so I'm a little oversized. Even on my bike, I'm like a little hunched over. I'm a little too big for my bike, to be honest. The nature noises, just in general, there's a lot of nature noises that they like to play here. In the bathroom at my dorm, when you sit down at the toilet, there is a sensor that automatically starts playing bird chirping noises and waterfall sounds as kind of like a privacy filter. Honestly, kind of genius, to be honest. Not something I expected, and I was frightened by it the first couple times, and I had no idea what it was. You sit down and it just starts playing. The sound overpowers everything else and you can hear it through the door. So, I don't know. Tells everybody you're taking the shit, but it also covers up the sound of you taking a shit. So, I don't know, pick your poison. Also at the train stations though, when you get off the train, most stations play some sort of bird chirping noise, which I have found really odd. And I've asked my Japanese friends about it too, and they also don't really know the reason. I did some mild digging and found that typically local bird calls and local nature sounds and play them at the station you're getting off of as kind of a welcome almost. There is also a lack of energy drinks.
The only American brands they have here are Red Bull, Coke, Pepsi, and Monster. We'll get a hyper zone.
In America, there's, I don't know, probably 10 to 20 different brands of energy drink soda in a convenience store or a gas station. Here, it's significantly lower. It's mostly tea, juice, water, and it's just made me realize how much junk people in America eat, and it's made me a lot more conscious. When you pick up a soda, when you pick up an energy drink, it's like you're picking the one on the shelf. So I've been trying to drink more green tea and more water. There's no cheese here. That's an overstatement. The cheese selection here is poor or very expensive. Most of the cheese here, I think it's kind of a dairy thing in general, feels highly processed, kind of not very tasteful. The only places I've been able to find good cheese are at the international store. And even then, like a slice of pecorino was 1,400 yen. So you can get like 3 meals with that much money. The lack of cheese has felt, I don't know, I felt the need to write down a lack of cheese. There's also this thing called the gaijin seat, which is a term for when you're on a train as a foreigner and you sit down and there's just a couple inches of extra room between you and the next person. That is 100% intentional. That is not an accident. Japanese people, they don't really know what to do with foreigners. They're usually nervous or shy around them, not necessarily because they hate you or they dislike you, but they just don't really know how to act. Especially in areas like this where even though it's saturated with foreigners, a lot of the locals are a little standoffish, you could say. But I also think that's partially just Japanese culture in general. They don't like to sit next to each other. People like to have their personal space. The washer-dryer situation, specifically at my dorm, the washers are fine, but the dryers, they're tiny, and so you have to do really small loads, and then you have to do those really small loads 2 to 3 times in order to actually get them dry. The sidewalks here are tiny. You'll be walking on the sidewalk and there are people biking both directions, swerving around you. Like, it's kind of dangerous almost, but I mean, I have yet to get hit. I've yet to see anybody get hit, so I don't know, maybe I'm just a dumb foreigner. And last but not least is the vending machines, the infamous vending machines. They're amazing, to be honest. I actually have not found myself using them as much as I had expected to, but that being said, they're extremely convenient, and they're kind of everywhere too. They're in my school buildings, they're in my dorms, they're on the side of the street, they're in the middle of the countryside. I'll miss them dearly when I go back. Some honorable mentions: the Japanese person's ability to sleep on a train and then wake up at the right stop. It is quite the sight to be on the train, see somebody completely comatose, and then all of a sudden just pop open at the right stop and get off. The smaller portions here are also notable. I found myself getting 2 full meals a lot of the time because I'm hungry. I'm a hungry guy. The emergency equipment here for fires, for earthquakes, is really creative, to be honest. I've never seen anything like it, but if there was one country that had emergency equipment countermeasures down, I would expect it to be Japan. And lastly, the lack of spicy food. I love spice, and it's actually been a bit of a challenge to find like truly spicy food here. When you get a spicy chicken or a spicy ramen, I'd say it's about a 50-50 chance if you're actually gonna feel it. My spice tolerance is pretty high. I know Japanese people in general, their spice tolerance is not all that great, so that's more of a me problem. But yeah, that's all. Those are my cultural observations for now. But yeah, that's enough talking for me. I'm gonna go enjoy the cherry blossoms in this park. Thank you all for watching, truly means the world to me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.